course, began, like most British actors, in the theater. When you were growing up in Abbey Road, were you going to the theater a lot? Were you belting down the Jubilee line to the National?
I was a junior member of the Hampstead Theatre, so the Hampstead Theatre Club. And at that time, the Hampstead Theatre was like a little postage stamp. It was like a shack. It was like going to watch, theatre in the back sort of garden shed. But great, wonderful, innovative writing. Good job, I'm not a writer. Innovative writing came out of that theatre when Jenny Topper was running it. And yeah, I was becoming increasingly interested in theatre through my teenage years. My father spent 5 years in Chicago, actually, in the 60s as a single man, and really fell in love with the old American musicals, those fantastic musicals of the 30s, 40s, 50s, On Your Toes, Guys and Dolls, 42nd Street, etc. So whenever there were revivals of those, that was our sort of holiday treat before we were packed off back to school in a sort of Hogwarts-like way from some train platform in Victoria Station, and we would always go to the theatre. So that was very much our sort of cultural door as a family.
So when did you actually think acting would be the profession? Was there a period, Damian, where you thought, I would do something totally different, and you were following some other line?
No, it was when I won the acting prize for my bottom. When I was 12 years old, and we did a very pared-down version of Midsummer Night's Dream, and I tasted, for the first time, that's got that sort of taste of success and people clapping and laughing, which is intoxicating. And then when I was 16, we were encouraged at the school I was at to rent the theatre from the school. So you could set up an independent theatre company, and then you would go to the school, rent the theatre, rent the costumes, rent the sets and the scenery. So you were encouraged to create your company. So you'd go away and raise money. In reality, of course, that was calling, Uncle Jerry and saying, can you bung us 100 quid? And hoping you had enough uncles to make it add up to, about, 1,000 quid, 1,500 quid. And I suppose it was then. It was then. So I was 16, and I decided that I'd had enough of sitting down, doing exams, and I was spending more and more time daydreaming, looking out the window, it took root then in a very real way.
And of course, so much of your career since has been acting characters from the other side of the pond. But I'm just curious. We'll get onto that later. At Guildhall, did you play a lot of different nationalities then? Did you play Americans? Did you study accents? Or was it classical training through and through?
This incredible age of cross-fertilization that we live in now between TV, film, and theatre, and between America and Europe, because I'm so old, didn't really exist then. Even, I'm talking about the mid-90s, which doesn't seem a very long time ago. But even then, the British actors in American TV, it was like Pierce Brosnan in Remington Steele. Other than that, there didn't seem to be too many of them. And so we weren't encouraged. We were encouraged to do dialects and accents, but you were just as likely to try to learn a Geordie accent or a Cornish accent as you were an American accent, because it wasn't expected that you would go and play Americans. There are plenty of brilliant American actors. There are enough of them over there. And probably some of them quite resentful now. But we try to exchange, and we invite them back here, and they come here and do great work here.
You may or may not remember, Damian, but we first met on the set of Band of Brothers when, obviously, during filming, so far before the release, and you were sort of stupefied in the most wonderful way by the fact that it had even happened. And I remember you said, God, am I going to be found out? Is this going to be believable? And of course, it went on to be an enormous success. How does all that seem looking back on it, the Band of Brothers experience?
Well, it was first, the auditioning experience was, long and I kept being dragged back into damp basements in Soho to do another speech from another bit of a script that none of us had been allowed to see. So we weren't really sure what we were signing up for. But, then Tony Toe, the dynamic producer, just one day said, "So, Damian, how do you like to fly to LA and meet Stephen and Tom?" And Stephen and Tom was Spielberg and Hanks. And I said, "Let me check my diary." And then a week later, I was staying in Shutters on the beach in Santa Monica and thinking, well, this is kind of amazing. And I was given the role, and then really the preparation for it. We were all sent to boot camp for 2 weeks down at Longmore Camp, which still has some World War II barracks actually from that era. And we stayed in character for 2 whole weeks, and Tom Hanks gave a great speech, actually, at the beginning, saying, this is really a social document, and you should treat it as such, and we're going to do everything we can to make this as true to life and honor the memory of these men in the best way that we can. The training was brilliant and true to life, and there was a Marine, actually, who was one of our special ability extras, who was one of the 20 extra guys to bolster our numbers to create Easy Company. And he said it was as hard a basic training as anything that he had been through. So we were taken through it, and it was really, and that's why, and of course I'm not going to make any sort of claim to suggest that our bond is as powerful or as important as the real veterans that they have now that fought and jumped into Normandy in 1944. But all of us who were in Band of Brothers, we still have this annual reunion, and there was a sense that we really came through something together.
Did you have any idea initially that Homeland would catch the zeitgeist in the way that it did?
No. I was very reluctant to do another TV show, and in fact, this was sent to me by my American agent. He just said, "Just read this one. I know you don't want to go and do a long-running TV thing, but read this." And he's, Howard Gordon and Alex Gantzer are involved, and they ran 24 for the last 5 or 6 seasons, and Claire Danes is doing it, Mandy Patinkin, they're already on board, and this is the one that everyone's talking about, and let's just read it. So I read it, and I very nearly didn't do it for just personal reasons, going to live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I wasn't going to move the family, but there were just too many compelling reasons to do it.
People were certainly shocked by the way in which Agent Brody is killed in Homeland, but actually looking at the arc of the series, Damian, were you surprised almost that Brody lived as long as he did? Did you think he could have died earlier and in other circumstances?
It was intimated to me very strongly that I would probably be in this only for a couple of seasons. No promises were made, because they wouldn't be that stupid. But Alex and Howard, who spoke to me on the phone when they were asking me to be in it, said, we really know about 2 seasons. When it became a huge hit, it became, dare I say, phenomenon. I think all the executives at the various studios, Showtime and Fox, they said, "Well, you can't kill him now, so you've got to think up some more story," and so they did, and then that created a dilemma for season 3 and just how they went about it in season 3, and I think they made a really good decision through season 3, brave decisions about not seeing Brody initially and then just dipping into him and then coming out. But it was a way of sort of easing away from Brody, I think, but still giving that sort of grand finale, if you like, that I think people would have wanted.